As valued sponsors of Bred to Win, it's been great watching the fortunes of Cambridge studs Brendan and Joe Lindsay in the past few months, with Probabeel taking out the Epsom in Sydney, their new sire Hello Youmzain winning the Diamond Jubilee Stakes at Royal Ascot, and new foals on the ground for their current stallions Almanzor and Embellish. Starting with the retirement just this week of Hello Youmzain, of course he added to the Haydock Sprint Cup win last year with the hugely memorable Diamond Jubilee victory at Royal Ascot this year. It's just wonderful he's retired sound and he'll be down in New Zealand next season.
Yes, Kevin Ryan rung and he said, look, the horse has been up since November last year and he did what he was supposed to do, which was obviously win that Diamond Jubilee, and in his last race he just didn't finish off with quite the zip that we liked. And he said, look, I can get him to the race at Royal Ascot, but I can't guarantee that we're going to win it. And he said, you know, he's done enough. He's did everything we want. And so we just made the decision. The best thing for the horse was he's done the job.
His sire by Danehill, Kodiak, has had another great year with a pre-morning winner in Campanelle. He brings some great speed to New Zealand, and I'm sure that's going to be enticing for some Australian mares too.
Well, you'd think so. Because of that Kodiak sideline, and it's just worked so well, that Danehill sideline. So you'd hope so. But I guess the exciting thing for New Zealand is we haven't had a sprinter of that quality come down to New Zealand before. Whether it come from Australia or from England. So it's pretty exciting. So we're pretty confident that we'll have the horse filled up virtually straight away from the feedback we've already had from local breeders.
Probabeel takes the lead.
Take us through the wonderful win of Probabeel in the Epsom at Randwick last week, the championship mile of the Sydney Spring, and obviously it was getting into the evening in New Zealand.
Well, it was 7 o'clock and it was our daughter's birthday, so we had the family out at the farm in Karaka and with the grandkids and one thing and another, and of course it's a long day waiting till 7 o'clock. And obviously you've got your hopes up like every other owner has in the race, and you look at the statistics and wide draws and how many mares have won the race, and then you start second guessing what's going to happen. And Kieran McAvoy ran in the morning, he said, look, I'm going to be positive. He said, I've got to be handy, and he rode the horse perfectly. And we yelled our heads off, and to win an Epsom handicap, I mean, it's a time-honoured race, it's a signature race. It's a long time since in New Zealand a horse has ever won that race, you've got, the great horses like Sunline and Superimposed before you that are household names, and I'm sure Probably will be a household name in the future as well.
She's just such a fabulous mare. I'm curious about why you were so determined to get her. You were the underbidder, of course, to David Ellis from Tattersall, but what made you get David to on-sell Probabeel to you as a yearling?
Well, we were the underbidder, and we got to the level and we walked out of the sales ring, and I said to Henry, I used a couple of words, like F this and F that and F the other thing, and he said, listen, why don't we just go and talk to DC and see if he'll on-sell it. So we grabbed David when he came out of the ring, and we said, look, would you on-sell it to us? And he said, on the condition, of course, that we train it. And that started the association really with Tattersall. So I think we've got about 12 horses in work now with Jamie. So they're just so good to deal with, and everything they do is just so professional. So it's been a very, very rewarding association for us.
And a great boost for Almanzor, not just Coolmore buying his sire Wootton Bassett, but also with Woodard, a son of Wootton Bassett, another son of Wootton Bassett, winning the Prix de l'Abbaye on Arc Day.
Absolutely, and I think that when we brought Almanzor down and put in front of New Zealand breeders, they were saying, who's Wootton Bassett? But certainly Coolmore understand who Wootton Bassett is, and I think he'll stand for a big fee next year, but it's probably given his pedigree a bit of the big tick, if you like, with Coolmore getting his sire. But Wootton Bassett just keeps on going, but Almanzor had a pretty good night at the sales again last night. He was a top first season sire at the Deauville sales, and he's a top first season sire at Tattersall's. So pretty well tells you he's leading the right sort of horse. And obviously we're looking forward to the yearling sales this year, because we've got a few to sell, but more importantly, our breeders that have supported the horse have also got a few to sell. So we're hoping they're going to be popular.
And yeah, I see you did stay in lot 177 with Aradetraham to support Almanzor on the track as well. The colt's from a Galileo mare from a good German family and will be trained in Europe.
Well, that was because we wanted to do something more with Kevin Ryan, who trained Hello Youmzain. So Kevin will get the horse to train. And we wanted to do something with Kevin, which was, I guess, out Joe's and my and Nicholas from Intraham saying thank you to Kevin, and to try and keep that association up with him and his family, of saying thanks very much for training a Group 1 winner, and here's another Group 1 winner for you to train.
Not an Option's about to draw them back.
And you've had some good winners lately in New Zealand and Australia, with more to come, so it's an exciting spring ahead.
We've got some really nice horses around us. You know, we just love the racing, and you know, yes, we've got quite a few horses which Joe and I race together, but we enjoy it. Probably what she does is she puts that adrenaline back into the body. That's, you know, through COVID, and you sort of, your shoulders start to round over, and then you go off and win an Epsom handicap, and all of a sudden you start pouring through the sales catalogues again, and you're away, you know, so bring it on.
And speaking of COVID, how do you see the NZB Karaka sales in 2021? We don't know who will be able to be there, but the international buyers have great relationships with people on the ground in New Zealand.
The New Zealand Bloodstock did a survey around a lot of the Australian trainers, and certainly syndicators and bloodstock agents, about whether to delay the sale. And they're all very adamant that they wanted the sale to be held in January. But they all made the same similar comments, which Andrew Seabrook passed on to me, is we'll be there. We might not be there in person, but we'll be there on Zoom or through an agent, but we'll be there, we will be buying. You know, I hate negativity, and I just hate it when everybody says, you know, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. I think we'll have a very good sale, because I think we've got a reputation, which we've had in New Zealand for many, many years, of breeding good quality thoroughbreds, and why wouldn't the Australians come and try and buy them off us? And, you know, I think we'll have a good sale.
Joe, another huge result last week with Probabeel in the Epsom. Has the voice returned?
Not quite, Caroline. I'm still a little bit croaky. I mean, I just shouted so loudly as she was coming around that turn, and I had a front-on camera shot of her, and she was just sitting in the middle. I just knew that she was going to do well, and that's about when I started screaming. Like literally screaming, so much so one of our neighbours came over to see what's going on. Did the horse win?
And now looking ahead to the Cox Plate, the Australasian Championship, the best of the best, and she fits right in.
That was the goal from the beginning, you know, when she first went to Australia. To actually be where we are now, being able to get to the Cox Plate, it's quite exciting. We'd love to be there, of course, but we'll probably do the same sort of thing on the 24th. Like we did last weekend. It may be a bit tougher race, this one, but seeing what she's done as a mare against the boys at the Epsom, we think that she may be able to do that again.
Isn't it incredible just how different a year 2020 has been for Cambridge Stud compared to last year?
Oh, look, it's amazing camaraderie here, big family. We just had a breakfast this morning with one of the boys on the farm that won the Young Achievers Award, Julian. It just showed that everyone's on the same page here, and everyone's really happy with the way things are going, and the breeding season's going very well, and the 2 stallions are going very well. So all in all, it's a great place to be.
Scott, looking at your European star sire Almanzor, he'll have some lovely representatives again from his Southern Hemisphere crop this year. How are you feeling about the foals on the ground so far?
Yeah, we couldn't really have asked for things to have gone any better to this point with Almanzor, to be honest. He's been really well received, he's got great mares, he's started breeding his 3rd book this year, which is another full book. The progeny's been well received. In terms of my job this year, it's been a salesman's dream, really. There's been so much good word around the place, and people that are advocating for his stock from last year. It's just really compounded year 2 and 3 that people are breeding back again. Everything's gone as well as we could have hoped.
She's sensational, got the lead from Bayron.
Well, some of the new Almanzors in 2020 we looked at include the She Sensational filly. The dam was a 4-time Group 1 winner, including the Zabeel Classic. She was a place getter in a Queensland Oaks and won a Hollandale. And this is a half-sister, this filly, to John Sargent's House of Cartier, who was 4th in the Angst on the weekend.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more than that out of the broodmare, really. As you said, she won 12 races, 4 of them at Group 1 level. First foal's a stakes winner, and as you mentioned, the second foal was a stakes winner in all but name as well. So to have a mare of that calibre in his 2nd book is fantastic. As you'll see from the vision, you know, she's produced a lovely filly. She's all quality, plenty of leg to her, and now we're very grateful for Bill Gleeson and Peter Gillespie, who own the mare, to have supported Almanzor, and I hope they're going to be really happy with the product they've got on the ground.
The dam of the next filly, Chanel, was also an Auckland Cup winner. She won the Hawke's Bay Cup and she's by the tough New Zealand sire Pentire.
Another top class race mare. She won the Group 1. She's owned by Tony, Wayne and Vicky Pike, who have been great supporters of Almanzor. I think we featured one of their foals on this segment last year as well. So it's again a great broodmare to have in the book. As you say, she's by Pentire. She was a really good staying mare herself, so you would hope she's going to produce something with some real classic credentials, and again a really bold type of filly, lovely frame and plenty of depth and scope to her, so she looks like she's got a really good frame to progress into and will make into a lovely filly as she gets older.
An Enchanting Beauty, an impressive win.
The Enchanting Beauty colt, the dam is an Australian bred mare by Sebring, who won several times in Adelaide, so has a double cross of Danehill. That's a really lovely match for her with Almanzor.
Having two crosses of Danehill, one of the real benefits with Almanzor's pedigree is he's a complete outcross, and we've certainly had a lot of Danehill mares go to him, or mares with Danehill in the pedigree, and it seems to be a really good physical match as well. He's a good example of this foal, very much like Almanzor himself. Good size, plenty of strength to him, well conformed and nice and correct, and he's owned by some Australian clients including Seymour Bloodstock, so it's been great to have their support, and I think she's due to head back to Australia shortly to go to stud, so it's another Almanzor in the system over in Australia, and hopefully will be a benefit down the line.
Embellish, of course, by New Zealand's current champion sire Zabeel, who of course is the sire of your champion Probabeel. He was a 2,000 guineas winner in New Zealand and another star in the Tiakau colours, and of course Tiakau and the Ellises are supporting him here at Cambridge.
No one knows Embellish better than Tiakau do. David Ellis selected him as a yearling for $775,000. He raced in the Tiakau Tangerine and obviously went on to be a Group 1 winner, but it's great to have that support of theirs continue through to his stud season. Fashion Forward's a Pentire mare, which he's been more of a staying influence, but this foal's actually quite a sharp, strong foal, and again, the Tiakau I think are breeding another 8 mares back to Embellish this year, so it's a real benefit to the stallion, and I think they're going to have the benefit of having some nice foals by him as well, so it's all working out nicely.
Decadence going out after Markle, who refuses to lay down.
Markle comes from a good, fast Australian pedigree. She raced in Brendan and Joe's colours and won a race here for Lance Noble. And this is her first foal. As far as first foals go, we're really delighted with the result. As I mentioned, Embellish seems to be putting quite a lot of strength into them, and this is a good strong foal, a good strong hind quarter, and it looks like a type that will get up and go and be quite forward and physical. So he's one of the nicer foals, and we're really happy with the result for a first foal out of her.
The Embellish Grand Wish colt. Now the dam was a 2-year-old city-winning 2-year-old, and is a half-sister to the Galaxy winner Griante and a close relation to Grand Journey and Proliferate.
She showed a bit of ability. She was a city-winning 2-year-old in Australia for David Breidoak. She's a half-sister to Griante, that was a Group 1 winner in Brendan and Joe's colours, and Griante has produced our $800,000 sale-topping yearling a little while ago. So, it's, to be fair, probably a quality of mare that not too many $5,000 stallions would see, but she went to him in his first year, and for a first foal, it's a really nice type. Embellish stands at a lower fee, but we've tried to breed some really good mares to him. We'll support him on the track, and that's a big part of hopefully making him a success and having that Zabeel sire line carry on into the future.
And your sadly lost and much lamented stallion Tavistock, he has some lovely young horses coming through.
My Marie is a mare that Brendan and Joe raced. She got a bit of black type and then produced Marky Mark, was her first foal, who's a champion 2-year-old. She had actually missed 3 years in a row before she went to Tavistock and got back on track. We've got a nice yearling in our draft by Tavistock going to the sales this year, and the foal is a lot like the yearling, quite a more compact, muscular, strong type than sometimes you'll get with Tavistock, and still probably needs to come up in the hocks a little bit, but a nice filly and is indicative of the quality of mares that Tavistock got in those last few years, and I think it's something we can look forward to with Tavistock, is the legacy that he's going to leave with his sons and daughters. I've got no doubt, we'll be seeing his name and pedigrees for many more years to come.
The Tavistock Special Diamond filly, of course, from one of the great old Sir Patrick Hogan Cambridge stud families. So it really is great to see Brendan and Joe and the team continuing to produce lovely horses from the family.
Yeah, we couldn't do a Cambridge stud segment without featuring a mare from the 8 Carat family. As you say, it's been such a huge influence here at the farm, and this mare in particular has been one of the more successful producers. She's had, well, I guess she's quite unique. She's had 4 black type horses. None of them have won a black type race, but they've all got black type. It's a deep family, and this is a lovely style of Tavistock filly. You know, a lot of quality and scope about her. She's you know, a really nice looker, and her full sister made $975,000 when she went through the yearling sales, bought by China Horse Club, and her name's Heart of the Ocean. She got black type last season and stays in training at 4, so there's a lot to look forward to, and you know, this filly will have you know, a lot of commercial appeal and a lot of residual as a broodmare in the future.
So the future of these foals, are they likely to be sold, or will some be retained and kept for racing and future breeding?
The clients do different things, but speaking for Cambridge Stud, you know, first and foremost, we are commercial breeders. We've got about 70 yearlings going to various sales. But on top of that, Brendan and Joe love to race, and we're selective about retaining particularly fillies, and certainly with Almanzor's first crop, we've identified some nice fillies to retain, to put into, you know, leading stables, because I think that's part of, you've got to support them with the mares, but also, you know, the racing system and making sure that they end up in the right stables so that they get a chance. So that's certainly something we're doing for Almanzor, and I would imagine it'll be very similar with Embellish. That'll be a real benefit to him, you know, going forward as a stallion as well.